My proposed study explores the dominant constructions of Black feminine identity in South Africa, tracing their roots from colonial and apartheid eras to contemporary times. It explores how historical representations shaped by racism, patriarchy, and colonial power cast Black women as hypersexual, corporeal, and inherently strong, which justified their exploitation and marginalization. The literature review highlights how these stereotypes persist, influencing expectations of Black femininity. The proposal further explores how these constructions intersect with ongoing gender-based violence, particularly within the home, where Black mothers are expected to endure and persevere, often silenced by cultural norms that sanction suffering and discourage disclosure of abuse. The studies I have explored thus far show how mothers pass on dominant constructions of Black feminine identity, while their daughters, which are younger generations, increasingly resist and question these norms, creating tensions in identity formation. A key focus that will also come up is the concept of resilience, which is associated with the strength of a Black woman. The study aims to explore how daughters interpret and negotiate these narratives of strength and resilience, which primarily stem from Black feminine identity, seeking to redefine these concepts in ways that acknowledge both agency and vulnerability. So my main question will be, how do young Black women construct their Black feminine identities through narratives of the mother-daughter relationship and the context of witnessing their mother's experiences of violence in the home, and what forms of meaning-making, resistance, and resilience emerge from these narratives. To answer my main question, I've divided it into 4 sub-questions, which is, how do daughters construct their Black feminine identities? Do the daughters resist dominant constructions of Black feminine identity? If so, how? What meaning do these daughters make about witnessing their mother's experiences of abuse? And has this witnessing shaped their sense of self? If so, how? And the last one, how do daughters narratively construct resilience as they make sense of their Black feminine identity? I use decolonial feminism and intersectionality as a lens to frame my study. A decolonial feminist framework critiques the hegemonic forms of knowledge production that have been centered on the white, heterosexual, middle-class, cisgendered, able-bodied male experience. But Arun argues that coloniality is a violent system that called itself rational. Therefore, decolonial feminism aims to dismantle the mechanisms that rationalize the violent, oppressive structures essential to coloniality. In this study, in my proposed study, I use a decolonial feminist lens to argue that colonial representations of Black women as possessing animalistic subhuman strength are used to justify the violence they experience. This justification comes packaged in the language of endurance and perseverance, which are prominent narratives that Black mothers share in their experiences of violence in the home. Literature documents that the dominant constructions of Black femininity are passed down intergenerationally within the mother-daughter relationship. The study seeks to explore how daughters make meaning of their mother's experiences of abuse, particularly within the context of dominant constructions of Black femininity that frame Black women as strong, enduring, and persevering. A decolonial feminist approach will acknowledge and create space for the daughters involved in the study to create knowledge centered on their lived experience. Therefore, the study also seeks to ask whether and how daughters resist these dominant narratives and what the process of negotiating such identities entail. Intersectionality is also a useful framework to explore how multiple systems of oppression, such as race, gender, class, sexuality, and ability, intersect to influence people's experiences of privilege and power. The framework critiques the anti-essentializing approach of Western feminism that generalizes the experiences of white, heterosexual, and middle-class women to all women's experiences. Existing studies on Black femininity construction have been conducted in villages located in Limpopo of the Vavenda culture. Therefore, to heed the caution of not homogenizing the experiences of women, the study will explore the Black femininity construction of young Black women of middle-class background. Additionally, by exploring how daughters narratively construct resilience, I aim to highlight how intersections of race, gender, and class influence the resilience processes of daughters who have experienced their mother's experiences of violence. Dominant constructions of Black feminine identity, violence against women, and then conceptualizing resilience and strength in Black women and girls. And then each heading has the subheadings. So under dominant construction of Black feminine identity, I have historical conceptualizing of Black feminine identity, then I have contemporary conceptualizing of Black feminine identity. Then under violence against women, I have violence experienced by mothers, violence reconceptualized as endurance and perseverance. Then under conceptualizing resilience and strength in Black women and girls, I have strength as resilience, resilience as strength.